Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review, and this you can see here is a Visconti. Now, it has been about 18 months since I bought a Visconti, and I have bought two. I am now at 71 Viscontis in my pen collection. So I'm pretty sure you'll understand that I do like Viscontis here. So it comes in this box. There is no label on the box denoting on what it is. But if I remove this sleeve, you will see Visconti here as a logo. This is one of their newer boxes, and I do like these boxes. They are pretty good. The only issue I do find sometimes is the pen will move around a little bit inside them. So let's just remove the lid here, and I'll show you this in more detail. So this is the Visconti, and this is the black and gold Medici, and this is a brilliant pen, and I have to say I am in awe at this color. Now I do want to show you something though. I do have another Medici, and it's this one, and this is the original brown with the palladium trim. They then brought out a gold trim. I did have two of these. I sold one because I just wasn't using it, but I saw this one and I really wanted it because it really has got a lot of this gold silk or aqua silk that Visconti claim that is in this resin. So you can see here up close, this is quite a gorgeous pen. There's a lot of sparkling going on. It's not glitter. It is silk fibers that are apparently mixed in with the resin. I don't exactly know how Visconti do this, but obviously it is very fine fibers. I'd almost think maybe it's a little bit more of a silk fiber powder or substance, but this really is beautiful. So you can see here the full pen. It is a faceted pen, and it really, I do like this. So when I saw that this was advertised, I thought I would have to get it. So this is an octagonal pen. And you'll see here it's got the faceted sides to it. Now you've got the cap finial here with a magnetic V logo for Visconti. You've got the standard bridge clip, which is springy as well. Now in terms of the cap and the shape, you'll see that it tapers down to this cap finial and it starts to taper out to the end of the cap here. There is a band here, and that is a band on the body, and it's just got the V logos there for Visconti, and then it says Medici. And then the body starts to taper down to another ring here, and then you have what essentially is a power vac filling knob. If I uncap the cap there, you'll see here it has the newer 18 karat gold Visconti nib. This is an in-house nib, as I understand it. It's a medium nib with an ABS plastic feed there as well. You can see that the section here is concave, and that's really good for holding the pen there. So your fingers rest quite nicely, so they don't really sort of gravitate down onto the nib or feed. It does have a hook-safe lock mechanism there as well. And then if I unscrew the power vac knob, there you go, and you pull it out, and that is the rod there. It's a titanium rod, and then you fill it and you push that in, and then you screw it back down again. So there is no ink window on this, but there isn't on the Medici line of pens, and this very closely resembles a Visconti Homo sapien. In terms of the length, in terms of the size, in terms of the weight as well. and it is a pen that I really do like. So there's a number of pens that I do want to show you actually. There is the Medici in the brown here that I have, and then there's also, again, faceted, there's this one which is a Chatterley Luxuries Southwest from Visconti. So there are a number of different versions here, and I have to say I do like this a lot. They are all the same size, same facets. This is a celluloid though, this one, and these are effectively acro silk, which is a combination of silk fibers and acrylic or resin, or precious resin if you want to quote, say, Mont Blanc. But this is a resin material, these two, and then this one is a celluloid. So I'll just move that one out of the way, and you'll see that in a little bit anyway. And I'll remove this one. So I think with that, let's do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we are looking at about 145 millimeters in length. The length of the cap, we're looking about 60 millimeters in length. Now, this is a faceted model, so it's not going to roll. And we will take a look at this. So for the full length of the pen to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we're looking about 132 millimeters in length. So I typically say 128 millimeters is normally an oversized pen. So that is quite a nice size, at least for me. We'll do a weight check as well. So the full weight of the pen, and this is uninked, we're looking at just over 41.5 grams in weight. The weight of the cap, we are looking at just under 14.5 grams. And then the weight of the pen, we are looking at just over 27 grams in weight. So that's quite a nice weight pen. But as you can see here, this is actually a really lovely material. So I'm really glad that I have added this pen to my collection. And I think what we'll do is we'll do a pen comparison next, and then we'll do a writing sample. So from left to right, we have the Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Chianti Shear. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Swirl, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Midnight in Florence, a Visconti, and this is the Medici, and this is in the black and gold. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Caput Mundi, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Jade, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon, and a Visconti, and this is the Chatterley Luxuries Southwest. So I think what we'll do is we'll ink this pen up, and we'll do it on camera. I'm going to choose the Newcastle Pen Show. It's a KWZ ink. So I think let's open the box here. Now, you're not going to see this pen fill up. There you go, Nuki Brown from KWZ. Unfortunately, you can only get this at UK pen shows. I don't know how many of these they have left. I've got a couple of bottles myself, and I'm already about halfway through one of the bottles. I might just have to pick up some more of this ink. So I think let's show you how to ink this pen up. So you can see this lovely brown colour, and I think that's going to work well with this pen. So what we'll do is we will just unscrew the power vac knob there. We will pull that knob out, and I've got to be careful not to hit this camera because the camera's quite low. Now I'm going to at first do one fill. I'm just going to wipe off the section a bit, and the nib and the feed. Now, because there is no ink window here, I'm going to do something a little bit risky because I'm not using a Pinida pen filler. I'm not using a Visconti travelling inkwell. So I've pulled the rod all the way back, and I'm going to start to inject ink out. I'm holding the nib upwards. Now, hopefully you'll see here eventually that this will start to bubble there. And then what I'm going to do is hold that in place, and you can see there, I'm going to submerge that nib and then just depress it. And what that does is that allows you to get a full fill. So if you don't have a Visconti travelling inkwell or a Penultimate pen filler, just wiping off that nib there a little bit, then that is the best option available to you to get a full fill. So I'll just put the cap back on the bottle there. But that is KWZ Nuki Brown, and this is a really lovely brown colour ink. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So this is the Visconti, and it is the Medici, and it is the black and gold. It has a medium, and it is an 18 karat gold. And I believe that this is, it's certainly the newer nib, and I believe it's the in-house nib from Visconti. The ink in here you saw is KWZ, and it is Nuki Brown, which is a beautiful, beautiful brown coloured ink. And I think that kind of matches some of that gold accents there that you see, so I think that works quite well. Now, in terms of line variation, I'm definitely seeing that this is coming out more like a Western medium nib. Can I push this nib a bit more? I certainly can, and I can definitely get more of a broad line out of this. And you can see that there in the figure of eights. Now, also, you're not seeing any hard starts or skips on these downstrokes. Some people ask me why I do these downstrokes, and that is exactly the reason why. Because if you're going to get a nib that isn't well tuned, that is going to skip or hard start, then you're going to see breakups in those vertical lines, and we're not seeing that there. Now, in terms of ink wetness or nib wetness, let's take a look. And we'll do a horizontal pass as well. So this is quite a wet nib. It's almost, I would say, bordering on being a fire hose of a nib. Not quite. This is an Oxford Optic A4 notepad. This is A4, typically from about midpoint onwards is what I would call a fire hose nib. Visconti nibs do write wet, so if you're going to be using them in a notebook, you might want to use an extra fine or a fine nib. Even then, they're still going to write very wet. You might need to use blotting paper, or you might need to wait several minutes before you turn the page. But I prefer a wet writing nib. Some people prefer dry writing nibs. I prefer a wet writing nib. The reason being is you have more ink that is the tip of the nib is actually gliding on as you write, which actually provides a nice smooth like writing experience. So you're not going to get a lot of feedback on a wet writing nib. So that's one of the reasons why I do like wet writing nibs. You can still get some pencil-like feedback on some nibs as well. This definitely does not have that. It's very smooth writing nib. What do I like? What do I not like? Well, it's a Visconti. I have 71, as I've already mentioned. 71 Visconti pens. It is a lot in my collection of around about 300 pens. Now, I do like the faceted versions of these Viscontis. I do like Homo sapiens. This isn't a Homo sapiens model, but it is very, very similar. It has the concave section, the hook safe lock mechanism. The size and the weight is very similar to the Visconti in most Visconti Homo sapien models. What do I dislike about the pen? And this is a small thing, but I always have trouble with pens that do not have demonstrators or ink windows, because typically what I normally find is if I'm writing a letter and I write an A4 page, or I'm writing several letters or several pages, suddenly it dries and runs out of ink. Yes, I can refill the pen before I start writing. Yes, I could have a Penultimate pen filler if I'm traveling, and have that to re-ink the pens, and I do. It's just sometimes a nicety to have an ink window to see if you're getting low on ink, or even a demonstrator. So that's really the only thing that I dislike about the pen. That said, I bought it and I have a bunch of these as well. As I have shown you here, I have that Medici, and I also have the Chatterley Luxuries Southwest there as well. So clearly I have a bunch of these that do not have ink windows, that do not that are not demonstrators. So from that perspective, I clearly like these. It's just a minor inconvenience, I would say, a minor gripe, that sometimes it would be nice to have a ink window on that. Visconti do that on some pens, like the Visconti Opera Masters, which are fully opaque pens. I just feel sometimes it would be nice to have it on something like the Medici line as well. Other than that, there's nothing I dislike about this pen. This pen writes very well out of the box. I really do like it. I really do enjoy writing with it. So that's my review of the Visconti Medici in the black and gold. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.